Hill Sabbath-day Adventist Church is celebrating 100 years.
It is day 28.
Happy sweet, sweet Sabbath!
Hi everyone, we want to welcome you today to our Meet the Member series. And today, we have with us a very special member, very special to me, Mr. Johan Bab, or he's known as Pastor Johan Bab. Pastor Bab, Johan Bab, welcome.
Thank you for your greetings, Jason.
Now, as you know, we are celebrating 100 years as a church on the current location that we are at. So we are just going to conduct an interview today. As I said, meet the members so we can get to meet the members. So, Mr. Bab, Johan, tell me a little bit about where you are and what you are doing.
First of all, I want to thank you, Jason, for having me as a part of the Meet the Members series. It's a privilege to be here, and I'm so happy to be speaking to all of you at Hill. Now, I am a Roman individual. Currently, I am in Antigua, for some of you who did not know.
Right, so what are you doing in Antigua?
Well, currently I am a Bible teacher at the Antigua and Barbuda's Sabbath-day Adventist Secondary School. That's in St. John's, Antigua. And I'm also an intern pastor, ministerial intern with District Number 2. I don't know how many of you would know the churches in Antigua, but currently I am doing my internship with the Joyful Way Sabbath-day Adventist Church and the New Bethel Sabbath-day Adventist Church. Okay.
So tell us, what made you want to go to Antigua, and how long have you been there?
Well, if my numbers are correct, I've been here for at least 10 months. 10 months. And I'm here in the capacity as a minister because, as I graduated from USC, I moved to Dominica with my wife. And of course, it's always a waiting period to be picked up as an intern in the Sabbath-day Adventist Church. So, with that being said, nothing was happening in Dominica in East Carib. But the thing is, what I've realized is that God does not limit you to location. He moves you to where He wants you to be. So, at the time I was looking for a job and waiting for an internship in East Caribbean Conference, I was also doing corporal work there and church planting. A friend of mine who graduated with me, was in school with me. He saw not an application, how should I say? He saw a vacancy at the same school, and he thought that he would share it with me. So I applied, and I got the call to come to Antigua.
Okay. Now, most of us know that, as you said before, you have been around the Caribbean. You have lived in Barbados, you studied and lived in Trinidad and Tobago, you lived in Dominica for a period of time, and now you're in Antigua. Now I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is. But wow, which country would you say is your favorite? And additionally, the other three, what would you say are two things that you like about each of them?
Wow, that's going to be a mouthful. All right, so as the tagline for Barbados' tourism, the old tagline would be, Barbados will always be home. I didn't say my favorite as yet, but Barbados will always be home. But if I'm being honest, my favorite of the 4 islands would be Dominica. Why I say Dominica is because that's where I started my family. When I say started my family, after moving from Trinidad with my wife, we spent the majority of our time in Dominica, and that's where we would have built memories. We would have shared experiences together. We would have served together in Dominica at in the church and what's not. And those memories are ever etched in my life. And the lessons that I've learned from Dominica really have placed me to where I am now. So based on that, I would say that Dominica is my favorite Caribbean country, or island rather. Now to answer the second part, yes, Barbados will always be home. I love Barbados. I love the people, the atmosphere, everything. Trinidad, of course, has a special place to me. Many great things happen in Trinidad. I went to the best university in all the Caribbean. I know you people would say differently, but whatever. Just right? But that's whatever. Yeah, but people like Elder Graham and William and all those who would have been at CUC, they can tune in and say that CUC USC is the best university in the Caribbean. And there I learned more about myself. I think I became a man at USC, having to, not being home anymore and being in a new place and actually growing where I've been planted. Besides that, I would have met my wife there. So, that's one of the greatest achievements for being in Trinidad. As it relates to Antigua, I have yet a lot to learn about Antigua. It's always been a year. But Antigua does remind me of Barbados. It's flat. We have a lot of the same cultures. We share a lot of the same cultures and what's not. But as I said before, my favorite place to be is Dominica. And if you have never been to Dominica, you need to go. You need to enjoy the rivers. You need to enjoy the greenery, the fresh air. The place is just nice. As I say, Dominica nice.
Okay. Now, you grew up in the Hill SDA Adventist Church from a tender age of 0 to about 35 or so. You've been in and around Hill Church. Now, what has Hill done and prepared you for in life, especially now that you are a pastor?
Well, there's so much that Hill has done. I don't think that the time of this interview would be enough. But from kindergarten right through under the tutelage of brother David Bishop, under Sister Celia Skeet, sister names are missing me right now. Romel's mother, Heather's mother,
Sister
Richards, yes, under the tutelage of those persons in kindergarten, coming up from then, they would have instilled a lot of great spiritual fibers within my being. I was a terror in in Sabbath school. I can remember points where that I was told to stand and look at one spot on the wall, because I was just troublesome. But apart from that, the stories that were inculcated from the lesson study books that they read to us and that we did in kindergarten and the Sabbath school department downstairs. Those were the finest moments of training that took place in my life. And as I grew up in Pathfinder Club, in youth ministry, and especially youth ministry would have guided me, or rather it would have trained me to be a leader. Being in Pathfinders, being in AY, of course, you happen to be an AY secretary. You had to learn how to be creative in your writing and writing your secretary report. Not only that, you also had to deliver the secretary's report. And only last night, my wife and I were going to an AY program somewhere in Antigua, and we had some young people with us, and we were commenting on how some of the young people at the Olympics were speaking in their interviews, and a few of them were not all well put together in how they spoke. But we said, or we came to the conclusion that we were privileged because we had these training grounds in AY and even in Sabbath school, giving us the opportunity to speak, giving us the opportunity to do things in church in front of a big crowd. Where then that the nervousness that we used to have, we had it no more. We were able to articulate ourselves well. We were able to again write our reports well, and that would have also helped me in my sermon preparation, in being able to write and being able to use the correct language and the correct tenses and what's not. And even outside of the youth ministry, we also had a very close-knit brotherhood and sisterhood. I remember those moments of after church on Sabbath. We go up into the hill, and we picking donuts, and we picking all kind of fruit, and when we come back, we having potluck, and that showed me that church is about fellowship. And even in my ministry, I always seek to fellowship with all those around me. You could be the first elder, you could be the deacon, you could be the janitor of the church. All of us are equal. All of us come under one body of church. Sometimes people believe that because they might be an elder, that they're above other people. Some people may think that because they're pastor, they're above other people and they're head in the clouds. But looking back at K-Phil, everybody, despite what socioeconomic background they came from, lawyer, doctor, school teacher, whatever, everybody connected, and that has been within my life. Whereas again, we fellowship as one, not segregated or clique, but we fellowship as one, and that has brought me to the point to say, even though I'm a pastor, I still fellowship with everybody. Everybody is my peer. Everybody is with me. So K-Phil, in one nutshell, has taught me to do three things: serve, serve, serve.
All right, I just want to make one point. You mentioned that you were a tyrant when you were young. That is not a trait that was passed on through the genes. Okay, so you have early memories of K-Phil. Share some of the early memories of K-Phil that you would have had, who you have had them with, what were these memories, and give us a feel of what your K-Phil life was at an early age.
K-Phil, being in K-Phil as a member of K-Phil Church at that early age was fun. We didn't have cell phone like the younger people have now. We didn't have PlayStation. Few of us may have had Nintendo or whatever at that time, as in Game Boy or whatever. But being a part of that young cadre of individuals, K-Phil was a place that we could always go to when we had no place, when we had nothing to do at home. Especially in the summer vacation, we had VBS. These days, VBS is almost non-existent throughout the Caribbean Union. I'll be straight with you, right? I don't know for what reason, but I remember we had VBS. We had VBS for weeks, and our resources were basically what we found in the gully, what people brought from their home, like polo sticks and what's not. And then we had fortunate persons that traveled to the US and they brought back all these different resources that we could use as members of the VBS. I remember.
Sorry, young, for those listening, do you want to say what VBS stands for?
Vacation Bible School.
Okay.
Thank you. So these days VBS is for a week. I remember having VBS for almost 5 weeks. And in that time period, we had to complete craft. We had the string art that we used to do. We had the The other art we use the crabba is to make different pieces. These things are coming back to my memory as I speak. Maybe when Edwy, when Charlie, or Kerwin hear these things, they will remember those days. You know, Jermaine remember those days. Zico, yes. So we had those special items of craft to do. We used to get the okra cutting, and we'll make designs and what's not. And then at the end of Bible school, you'll have a grand exhibition, and you take everything home, and you will sit down and say, yes, you would have done something that was useful, and maybe you never know, it would have helped you in your adult life as it relates to being handy and what's not. Now, another memory I had, especially in VBS, my fondest memories are in VBS. It was either VBS or Pathfinders. And you said in the question, tell me who I had these memories with. Now, VBS, I think yes, it was VBS. And Lomer took us out. That's Elder Rock. He took us out in the back part of the gully. We were doing a little hiking. And as we were walking through the gully, that time the gully was full of sea grapes trees. I don't know how it stays now, right? But there were so many sea grape trees or sea grape, sea grape trees in the gully. And at that time of the summer, it was very early in the summer, and it was me, Kerwin, Jermaine, Charlie, Zico, and a few other guys in the neighborhood. I think it was Damien and all those who come around back in the day. Dave and those guys, yes. So we gone. You were a little boy at that time, so I don't think you could have leave church.
All right.
Right. Anyway, so us older boys gone to Lomer. Lomer was always the person to go with, by the way. If nobody else was going, we could not go unless it was Lomer. I could tell another story after that. So we left the church. We take a trek behind where Jermaine lives into the gully, and the first 2 or 3 grape trees we started to separate, and we go on these grape trees looking for grapes. But to our discovery, the grapes were green. So every man started to take off grapes and bite them, and we realized that they were not edible. We started to have a grape war. So we throwing grapes at one another, Lomer all in front, and we all of a sudden Lomer turned back, hey, yo.